Hello, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. Welcome and welcome back to our channel. This is the Word-Based Life, a platform where we share things that pertains to our spiritual life and every other vital aspect of our lives. The aim is just to encourage you to grow spiritually as well as share other information that will help us to live a fulfilled and abundant life that Christ has promised us. I'm your host, Rosa Hambelela, and as usual, I'm so delighted to host you today. In the previous video, I did the first part of our book review on the book titled The Spirit-Controlled Temperament by Tim LaHaye. And we did the first part where we looked at extroverted temperaments, that is, we looked at the sanguines and the cholerics. And today, by the special grace of God, we have the privilege of continuing with our book review. And just to remind you, again, as I've said in the previous video, the aim of this review is not for us to justify misbehavior, it's not for us to glorify other temperaments. We see that the aim is just to learn ourselves to be more self-aware and to be able to notice to highlight our strength and to capitalize on them, as well as take note of our weaknesses. Perhaps you have weaknesses, and it's in this review that you'll be able to notice them so that you'll be able to work on them. We all want to be better human beings, and that is why we need to study human behaviors. And also, there is no temperament that is superior to the other. There is no temperament that is bad. It's just that we all have weaknesses and strength. It's very important that you are able to notice what you're good at, what your strengths are, and capitalize on that. And what is important is that temperaments complement each other. God himself, in his wisdom, created us different, and he gave us these temperaments to complement each other and to make life worth living. Without yapping too much, we are going to continue with our review today, and we are looking at the two introverted temperaments, that is melancholies and phlegmatics. We are going to start with the melancholies today. Who are the melancholies? According to the author, the melancholies is one of the most talented temperaments that we have. They are analytical, self-sacrificing perfectionists. They have a sensitive emotional nature. They enjoy fine arts. They are given to a variety of moods. These are the people who are most likely to experience mood swings. You know, there are times where they may act extrovertish. You may think that they are sanguine, but there are also times when they are gloomy and they are reserved and withdrawn. Melancholies are very dependable and makes faithful friends. So once a melancholy makes a friend, they don't easily make friends, but when they make a friend, they hold on to that friend and they are ready. They can sacrifice their life for their friends. They are very sacrificial and they are very faithful. Melancholies may come off as if they don't like people, but they love people and they have a genuine desire to be loved. But the problem is they hardly express how they feel about people. Most of their feelings are internalized. They live in their heads, they live in their minds. They hardly take people on this value. I mean, they hardly warm up to people just by meeting them, and they can be very suspicious. They have this sacrificial nature. They tend to make themselves suffer. It's like they find fulfillment in making themselves suffer for the sake of other people and just sacrificing themselves. Because of their analytical nature, they are able to predict that something bad is going to happen, or they are able to analyze the situation in mind and already see the possible obstacles, what could go wrong. If we embark on this project, for example, they can already see what the possibility of something going wrong and all that. So they're able to diagnose obstacles and dangers in any project. They are very creative and tend to have a high intelligent quotient. They have a very high IQ. So what are the strengths of a melancholy? Melancholies tend to be creative and are quite gifted. They're naturally gifted and very creative. They are sensitive. They're able to empathize easily with other people. According to the author, most geniuses tend to have melancholic temperaments. They excel at fine arts, they appreciate fine arts and respect cultural values. They are perfectionists and pay attention to details. They tend to relive past memories. You know, these are the people that would do something. Maybe they had a presentation. After presenting, when they go home, they'll be thinking about how they did that presentation, what they could have done better, and they will relive those moments. And they tend to be hard on themselves. They have a high standard, usually have like a high standard of doing things, and can be difficult to please because people may not meet up to their standards. These are the people that tend to do that might find it difficult to delegate because they have a particular way they want something to look like, and they might not be able to trust other people to deliver according to their expectation or in line with their standards. As I said already, they are dependable and faithfulness comes naturally to them. So when they say they will do something, they tend to stick to it. These are the people that want to follow the rule. They want to cross every T, they want to dot every I. They have a wonderful capacity of knowing their limit, and they tend to avoid those things that they are not good at. They also don't really enjoy the limelight. They love to work from the background. They don't want to be the center of attention for anything. They are reserved and rarely volunteer their opinions. They may have an idea about something, but sometimes they may not give their opinions until they are asked. They love their space. They love privacy, they love their space. They are very precise when they're speaking. They do not waste words. They're not like the sanguines. So when they are saying something, they just want to go straight to the point and say exactly what needs to be said. So what are the weaknesses of a melancholy? Melancholies are very self-centered. They can be their own greatest critics, and they tend to criticize others as well. They tend to overthink things. I mean, sometimes they want to maybe launch a project, but they will have a hard time deciding whether this is the right thing to do in their mind because they want to do everything perfect. Sometimes they tend not to launch a project because they see all the obstacles. I mean, they can be very pessimistic. As I said, they are pessimistic. Sometimes they tend to exaggerate things that could go wrong and obstacles that could take place if they decide to do a particular thing, and that can keep them from exploring and from starting great things that they are capable of doing. So this pessimistic outlook to life of theirs make them fearful and indecisive. So because they are perfectionists, they try to shield themselves from making mistakes and falling. So they try to avoid anything that will make them fall or where they will not be able to succeed. They are very vulnerable to people's criticism. So any criticism tend to put them down. They are already hard on themselves. So when someone criticizes them, it tends to bring them down. No one ever experienced a great mood fluctuations like the melancholies. They can be very moody. Today they are happy, tomorrow they are gloomy. These are the people that are most likely to experience mood swings. They can easily be offended by something that maybe other people may look at it as if it's trivial, but to them it can be offensive. And because they are suspicious, if they see people whispering and they look to their side, a melancholy would conclude that these people are gossiping me or they're talking about me. So that's how they are. They can be very suspicious. You can offend a melancholy and they might not react at that moment, but they have this tendency of keeping things in their heart, and they one day they will just explode and they will revenge in a very unpleasant way. So these are the people that they will just be looking at you, offend them. They will just wait for a good opportunity to pay you back. So just to note that I'm talking about their natural characters before any transformation, before they meet Christ or before they have done any work. So they tend to keep malice for a long time A melancholy can be angry with you, can keep malice with you for even a year. They still remember that you offended them in 2000 and what. And then when they get an opportunity, they will pay you back. They will take revenge. A melancholy can do something so well and they can achieve success, but then after achieving that success, what follows is a period of gloominess and depression. They tend to experience prolonged periods of depression. Okay, so what are the careers that are suitable for melancholies? According to the author, the world's greatest musician, composers, artists, scientists, philosophers, educated educators have been predominantly melancholic. He said almost every musician have some melancholic tendency. So that means every musician, according to the author, this can be debated, we can verify this. According to the author, all the musicians have some melancholic tendencies in them. At least if they are not pure melancholies, they have some melancholic tendencies in them. They can also be good doctors because they pay attention to details. They thrive as craftsmen because they enjoy fine arts and can also be horticulturalists. They will enjoy any work that requires creativity and attention to details. Biblical examples of melancholies can be Moses. We see Moses was almost, we could say he was a perfectionist because even when God was sending him, he wanted to be suitable. He wanted to be competent for the work that God was assigning to him. We see that melancholies, they are scared of being incompetent. And so he was giving excuses that I'm not a good speaker. He was very pessimistic. He was seeing already all the possible obstacles. What if Pharaoh is not going to listen to me and all this and all that? So we see that Moses was melancholic, and we can also see that he was self-sacrificing. At some point he was like, God, instead of wiping these people away, maybe just remove my name from the book of life. Instead, it's me that you should punish. That he was very self-sacrificing. And another Bible character that I could add here, I'm not taking this from the book, but I'm just thinking out loud. I think Gideon was also a melancholy because, Gideon wanted proof that he was going to succeed when God came to him and say, oh, thou mighty man of Valor and all that. He wanted proof. He was even trying to test God that if this is going to happen, let this happen. So we see that those are melancholic traits that we can see from the life of Gideon. And now we are going to the last temperament, phlegmatics. So who are the phlegmatics? They are happy, unexcited people. So a phlegmatic can be happy, but they won't show that they are really happy. And even when they are angry also, they don't show it. These are the people that you will not find them bursting into laughter or bursting into anger. Everything is under control. Their smile is moderate, and they are very happy people, but they are not excited. They are not really into showing off their emotion all out like that. They don't like too much involvement. They don't want to be really the center of attention or to be too much involved in anything. They enjoy supporting from the background. They are calm people, easygoing, friendly, and they hardly have enemies. So they try to avoid enemies at all costs. They are natural peacemakers. When the Bible says, follow peace with all men, yes, that is their mantra. They try to avoid confrontation and they live everything peaceful. They have a high boiling point. They don't easily get ruffled no matter the circumstances. So these people are very difficult to provoke. So even if you are trying to provoke them to make them angry maybe and explode into anger, a phlegmatic will just be there calm and responding to you in a calm way. So they are very good at controlling their emotions. They are kind-hearted and sympathetic, but seldom convey their feelings, their emotions. They don't really show how they feel. They hardly show how they feel. They enjoy people and have a dry sense of humor. Phlegmatic can get people, as teachers, laughing out their lungs, but they will just be there. They will not join the laughter like that. They can crack a joke and they are not laughing at it. They have a good retentive mind. They make good imitators, so they can be good actors. They tend to be spectators in life as they avoid getting involved. They can be hard to motivate beyond their daily routine. So they have what they want to do. And if you try to get them to do what they don't want to do, they may not tell you yes or no. They will just smile and not do what you're asking them to do. They are very diplomatic people. They can find a way to have a difficult conversation with you. They'll find a way of telling you without offending you. They can be competent and effective when aroused into action. The problem is they are laid back, so they don't really take action most of the time by themselves. But when they are aroused to take action, they can deliver. They can be very effective and competent. They tend to avoid taking up leadership positions, but when it's thrust upon them, they tend to thrive at leadership because they get well together with people. They are meticulous and patient. So what are the strengths of the phlegmatics? They have a very good sense of humor. They tend to make humor out of mundane things of life. They are likable by nature because they always seek to be at peace with people. They are dependable. They are dependability personified. These are the people that you can count on. They're always cheerful and good-natured. These are the people that will fulfill their obligations and stick to their schedules. Their slow, easygoing nature make them good counselors because they are able to listen to people's problems and come up with well thought out counsels that they can give to people. They are usually very objective and practical. They are thinkers and organizers. They work well under pressure. They may not be perfectionists like melancholists, but they have a high standard of accuracy and precision. Phlegmatics love neatness and order, and they tend to be very efficient. Okay, let us look at their weaknesses. What are their weaknesses? In as much as they are lovable, easy to love, they have weaknesses as well, just as other temperaments. So number one weakness is they can be slow and lazy. They are prone to think slow and lazy and are often accused of dragging their feet on matters because they love to take their time. You know, because they are dependable, once they promise that they will do something, they will do it. It's just that they may not do it. They will just take their time and do it with their time in a slow manner. They do not like to be stimulated into action against their will. They can lack motivation, which tends to make them spectators in life. They are stubborn and can be quiet rebels. You know, as I already said, a phlegmatic may not argue with you whether something is right to do or not. They will not say, yes, I'll do it, or no, I'll not do it. They will just not do it. They hardly take initiative. They are very conservative of their energy, time, money, and are often opposed to change. They don't really like change. They can be people pleasers, indecisive, and laid back. They try to avoid offending people, so which makes them people pleasers. They often vacillate between doing something and also not wanting to pay the price of doing that particular thing, paying the price of time and effort. They can be selfish and they're not expressive. Let's look at the career. What are the career paths that are suitable for phlegmatics or that phlegmatics tend to follow? They tend to be drawn to the field of education, particularly elementary teachers, because of their patience. They have these patients with children. They are able to keep up with, to take a slow pace to make sure that they learn things, the basic things. They are very patient with children. They make good administrators because they love order and neatness. They make good librarians, counselors, engineers because they are meticulous. Anything to do with planning, calculating, those things attracts them. They can make good mechanics. They can also be good supervisors and managers because they get along well with people and they are diplomatic. They will know how to resolve conflicts. They love security and tend to be civil servant because they don't like taking risks and they tend to be loyal to their employers. So if they are working for a company, as long as there's security there, a phlegmatic will stay there for the rest of their lives. They hardly venture into businesses because they They are not risk takers. They are not natural risk takers. So they avoid venturing into anything risky like entrepreneurship and all those things. So example of a phlegmatic in the Bible is Abraham. Abraham is a good example of a phlegmatic. Abraham, even when the time they were to split, to separate with the nephew Lot, Abraham was telling Lot to just take whatever side pleases you. Me, I'll take whatever remains. That is a nature of a phlegmatic, and they will always try to avoid conflict. One of the weaknesses also of a phlegmatic is that they can lie to protect themselves or to please people. And we see this in the life of Abraham. He didn't want any problem. He was ready even to kind of sacrifice his wife, because there was a time he was lying that Sarah was not the wife, and was also asking Sarah to lie so that he can protect themselves, that maybe the people will kill him for Sarah's sake. And we see that Abraham, was a faithful person. He was dependable. And we could see this trait of just following peace. He just wanted to be at peace with everybody. Whether it's with Lord, he wanted to be at peace with him. He's somebody that would avoid fighting. Okay, so maybe you can add, if you know any other phlegmatic in the Bible, or any other person, biblical character that portrays any of this temperament. It will be very interesting. Share them on the comment section. Otherwise, that is all I had today. Those are the 2 additional temperaments that I have omitted the last time. I hope you found this interesting, and I hope you are able to identify your temperament. And I want to emphasize that every temperament is beneficial to us, and we need to embrace each other, because if we are the same, then there's no beauty in that. We need some wins to help us take life a bit lightly, not just to be serious all the time and bring the fun part of life. We need the cholerics for leadership and to make decisions. We need melancholies who are very meticulous, who are very attention to detail, thoughtful, and we need phlegmatics that are easygoing and all that. So we all need each other. We complement each other, and that is the beauty of life. It's our differences that makes life interesting, and it's very interesting when you see these characters being perfectly played out there. After reading and studying this temperament, I find it quite interesting to see these temperaments playing out in real life, that actually what Tim LaHaye has written is actually true. You find these traits in people. I'm able to understand people a little bit better, although I'm still studying. And of course, human beings are complex, and we need to continue studying, learning and unlearning, as they say, about each other's. Yeah, with that, we have come to the end of our book review, The Spirit Controlled Temperament. I would encourage you to read the book for yourselves. It's quite a rich book. The author further goes on to explain how the Spirit of God will help you to become a better person, to overcome the weaknesses that are associated to your temperament, and also the need to have the fruit of the Spirit displayed in our lives despite of our temperaments. There's quite a lot of things that you can learn from this book, so I will advise you to get the book. And beside, we need to pray for ourselves. We need to recognize if you find out that is a weakness, something that you struggle with. The best solution is to go to God, the one that made us, so that He can transform us, so that our temperaments will be spirit controlled. So with that, thank you so much for watching up until this time. I remain your host, Rosa Hambelela, and until I come again on your screen, it's bye-bye. God bless you.